Hmm. Yo, Alter, are you already here? Sorry, I didn't get the chat up in time. Uh, but it's not a new. I don't think it's. I might look a little different, but this is how I was streaming the last stream. This is how it looked anyway. But hang on, I gotta get. I gotta get Facebook and Instagram going. How are you, Alter? How are we doing? Okay. I mean, like you shrunk your pic. Yeah, yeah. But that's how I did most of the stream, like last stream. Okay, Facebook should be going. Oh, nope. I always forget to actually go live on Facebook. And now for the gram. Now for the gram. Dude, I swear, there's got to be an easier way to do this. The fact that you have to change your stream key every single time you stream is kind of insane. Pretty hyped for Pokemon Champions. Is that like the World Championship? Is that what they call it? Does that go on at this time of year? Let's see. Did we get it all? We got to go live. Oh, man. Instagram is rough, dude. With this new view, like you can't even see anything on Instagram. It's so chopped. Let me try to reactivate all of these sources. Once again, Instagram just boots right up, dude. That was the one that I struggled with the most when I started doing this, and now I can't even get Facebook to work. It's a new game. You can battle live against other trainers like it's VGC ranked. A new game? What? I'm going to look it up right now. It's a new battle-focused Pokemon game launching on Nintendo Switch. Serving as the official software for the Pokemon World Championships and other competitive events, it features familiar mechanics, cross-platform play with mobile, and modes like ranked, casual, and private battles. With compatibility with Pokemon Home to bring in Pokemon from other games. The game will also be available on iOS. Wait, so is it... It's just like a... Dude, is this like a battle simulator? Game is crazy hype. No need to buy mainline Pokemon games if you're not into it. Wait. So I played a bunch of Pokemon Showdown. Just like an online battle simulator. And this is actually ringing a bell. And I feel like that's what I interpreted this game as. It's like Pokemon Showdown. But now you have to pay money to speed up training Pokemon. Wait, no way. Wait, so you're telling me that they made a battle simulator, but you have to pay... You have to make what? In-app purchases? Like in-game purchases to... Like you can't just pick your guys and battle and like pick their stats and move pool and everything. If they made Pokemon Showdown into Pokemon Champions, which is the same thing except they're trying to monetize it, Nintendo has absolutely lost their marbles, bro. Like, why would anybody... But this is official, and you can make money off of it. Wait, you can make money? You can transfer Pokemon from Pokemon Home if you caught them already. See, I don't even know what Pokemon Home is. I don't know. If it's a battle simulator where you can just like, where it's just like Showdown and you can just pick your guys, pick their move pool, pick their stats, like that would be cool. But if you have to like pay money to do that, that's the opposite of cool. Shoot, dude, if it's a simulator, I might actually get back into it. If it's like going to be on iOS and stuff. From mainline games. Oh, that's interesting. Well, anyway. I got to get back into my studies here. Oh, man. I don't know how much energy I've got in me this late. It's not even late, dude, but I don't think I'm going to have like a super long stream like I did yesterday. Super long. It was like 2.5 hours. Um, oh, whoops. Dude, the fact that you can't, like, edit where the camera is on Instagram is ridiculous. If you have the mainline game, you won't pay money, really, unless you want to speed up training still. But it'll be free for dedicated players. And even if you don't have mainline games, it's still all free, but nowhere near as easy as Showdown to just grab Pokemon and stats. That makes sense, but I guess we will see how it goes. There's already gameplay out too. Huh. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. There's no way I'm about to get back into that, but oh man, maybe. I feel like it's too overwhelming now. I'm too far behind. I mean, I know that that's ridiculous, but that's how I feel. That's kind of what's made me hesitant to get back into it. Anyway. All right, I got to lock in on my topic here. So yesterday I left off at like Moses entering the land of Canaan. So I asked ChatGPT earlier, I was like, dude, keep having these muscle cramps. If I like this, that happened in Numbers, is when they I don't know, they were like fighting people in Numbers. But also Moses like dies at the end of, or no. That's a lie. What was my question about? Well, I don't know. So at the end of Numbers, they like pull up to the edge of the promised land, the land of Canaan. And they're not permitted to go in yet. And I was like, so they pull up to the edge of the land of Canaan where they're supposed to invade, and they're supposed to like go in and live there. It's the promised land. And there's an entire book, Deuteronomy, in between Numbers and Joshua. And Joshua's the guy. Apparently, like after Moses dies, by the way, I also realized that Moses never actually goes into the promised land, which was kind of interesting to me. He sees it, and it like specifically states that he like sees the promised land and looks at it, but he dies before he's allowed to enter it. And apparently there was something that happened in Numbers chapter 20, I think it is. That makes Moses like he disobeys the Lord here, and this is what happens in Numbers 20 that disallows Moses from entering the promised land, allegedly. The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the rod, and gather thou the assembly together, thou and Aaron thy brother, and speak ye unto the rock before their eyes, and it shall give forth his water. And thou shalt bring forth to them water out of the rock, so thou shalt give the congregation and their beasts drink. So the Lord tells him to speak unto the rock, and it will give water. Moses took the rod from before the Lord as he commanded him, and Moses and Aaron gathered the congregation together before the rock, and he said unto them, Hear now, ye rebels, must we fetch you water out of this rock? And Moses lifted up his hand, and with his rod he smote the rock twice, and the water came out abundantly, and the congregation drank, and their beasts also. And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron, Because ye believed me not, to sanctify me in the eyes of the children of Israel, therefore ye shall not bring this congregation into the land which I have given them. So he, instead of speaking unto the rock, for it to, like, telling it to give forth water, Moses instead smacks the rock with his staff. And the Lord didn't like that. And so he says, you don't get to go into the promised land because you didn't do what I told you to do. Kind of weird, kind of wild. But the bottom line is that they're like all at the edge of the land of promise, and they're about to go in. But Moses, like, there's a whole book, Deuteronomy. It's 34 chapters. It's 34 chapters, and and I'm like, what happens in these 34 chapters in between? Because Joshua is the one that leads them into the promised land. He's the one that goes in and takes over. So I'm like, what happens in between them going to the edge of the land, right at the Jordan River, and in between that and Joshua actually leading them in and going in? And apparently Deuteronomy is just this big, long speech given by Moses. It's like it's 34 chapters of Moses just like hyping up the children of Israel before they go in. And he basically recollects like everything that happened in the 40 years that they were lost in the wilderness. And yeah, just hypes them up. But here's the thing, dude. In fact, I'm going to pull up a map. I need to get out of this full screen here. Old Testament map. Okay, and I think that is the Red Sea. Let's take a look here. Euphrates. Okay, I gotta figure out. These were the Hittites were. This is weird. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out like. This is the Dead Sea. That's where Jerusalem is. Okay. This is not the section of land that I'm looking for necessarily. Or maybe we're just not zoomed in far enough. Unless this is all the land of Canaan. All right, yeah. I'm just gonna. I got to figure this out for myself, so I'm just gonna be kind of thinking out loud here. Okay. Bible maps. This will be nice. Hello, Jenna. Welcome to class. Okay, this is the physical map of the Holy Land. Which to my understanding is the land of Canaan. Which would mean that this whole thing is the land of Canaan. And this is what everybody's like, this is still what is considered today to be the Holy Land. This is what everybody's fighting about, is this part of the land. Okay, here's what we want, though. Israel's exodus from Egypt and entry into Canaan. So here's Egypt. Yeah, here we go. So here's Egypt. And where would the River Jordan be? Because that's what I keep hearing, is that the River Jordan is what divides the Israelites and where they are from the promised land. It's saying that this is Canaan. Let's see if it has the River Jordan on here somewhere. Jordan River, 17. Oh, here it is right here. It's way up here. It's attached to the Dead Sea. It empties into the Dead Sea. Okay. Seems weird, though. Because they start out in Egypt and then they travel. This is the Red Sea. This is the Red Sea. This is the part where Moses like literally parted the Red Sea, was right here, allegedly. And then they get lost in this wilderness here. But apparently go all the way. They go up and around. See, they go around the land of Canaan and then cross into Jericho from this side to here. Okay, now I'm seeing it, chat. Now I'm seeing it. So if you'll notice, here's Gaza. This is the Gaza Strip. Okay, this is the land of Canaan. And again, like this is what everybody has been fighting about for literally centuries, because this is the Holy Land. And the question is like, who does it belong to, and who, whose is it? Because what happens is, see, here's the Philistines, or no. I'm thinking of something else. So the Israelites cross the River Jordan, and they first take Jericho. The Battle of Jericho. That's what I'm pretty sure we're looking into at the beginning of Joshua. Joshua takes down the walls of Jericho, and so I'm going to kind of glance over that. But just to like make it more familiar. Ah, man, that's just interesting. Here's the Gaza Strip, and the issue is that Jerusalem, this is where Israel is today, is right here. I believe. Because here's Jerusalem, and Jerusalem today is in the same spot as it is on this map right here. And Israel is like right here. But on the right side of it, you have the Arab nation still. In fact, I don't even know. Let me pull up a map. Modern day Israel map. Yeah, let's look at this. Yeah, so here's the Dead Sea. Oh, yeah, here we go. Here we go. So here's Israel. This is the West Bank. So the problem is that this is not Israel, if I understand it correctly. And see, the Gaza Strip over here is also not Israel. And so Israel is like in between these two parts. But this is all technically the Holy Land. And so what I like, the understanding that I have is that like the Arabs were all here in the Holy Land. See, that's what I'm kind of trying to figure out here, Chad. I guess that's my whole point is the house of Israel, like the Israelites, all of this is relevant because I'm kind of trying to find out like like who was here first, and how did we get here, and you know, when did the conflict start exactly? Because all you hear is that it's like, you know, these issues have been going on for centuries, dude. They've been going on forever. And it's like, okay, but so how many centuries? Like, when did it actually begin? Because at one point, like we're reading right now in the Old Testament that the Israelites come into the Holy Land and it's theirs. So at what point was there this like split, and now you have the Arabs and the Jews, and the Jews, I don't know what happened. Like, that's what I'm hoping to find out. Looking, like, starting at the beginning and moving moving chronologically, is the Jews left at some point. Like they were either, I know that it has a lot to do with what happens in Kings, in 2 Kings. Like this, you have the southern kingdom down here and the northern kingdom up here. And something, I know, like whatever happened, something happened where the Jews had no place to call home. And then the Holocaust happened, jump centuries into the future. The Holocaust happened, and shortly after the Holocaust, we were like, okay, apparently it was the United Nations that suggested that we share this land. And they're like, we're going to just make this part of the land Israel and give it to the Jews. And this is what the Arabs can keep. And the Arabs were just like, no, you can't do that. And so then we had this big issue. We've just been having these big issues ever since. And Israel's uncomfortable because they're in between these two, part of the Holy Land that isn't theirs. And I think there's something about the Mediterranean Sea. Like, this is not only is the Gaza Strip not part of Israel, but it's also valuable for like economy. It's important for trading. I don't know. It's just valuable. So I don't know. That's the whole goal here, really, is just to learn the history of it, because it has, like, again, it has to do with us. So anyway, that's what I'm trying to find out here. Okay, so I guess we just proceed with our story here. So Deuteronomy is literally just Moses hyping everybody up, essentially. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of glance through these chapters and without having to read the whole chapter, see if we can kind of piece the story together. So the Lord speaks to Joshua. He's commanded to be of good courage, to meditate upon the law, and to keep the commandments. He prepares Israel to enter Canaan. Okay, and for anybody, like, remember, there were 12 spies that were sent 40 years ago to scout out the land of Canaan and see what they were up against. Their opponents were giants, allegedly. And let's see. And 10 of the 12 didn't think that they stood a chance, so they chickened out. But Caleb and Joshua were the ones that were like, dude, we can do it. We've got the Lord on our side. And so the Lord was like, okay, you guys are going to be permitted to enter into the land. So that's why that's who Joshua is. That's the book of Joshua. So he's the one that basically is in charge of the Israelites after the death of Moses. So Joshua takes over and into the land of Canaan they go. Well, they prepare to enter the land of Canaan. Okay. Joshua sends spies to Jericho. More spies. They are received and concealed by Rahab. They promise to preserve Rahab and her household. So Rahab is like this harlot that the people at Jericho like get word that there's spies in there, and she hides them. Not really pertinent to what we're looking at here. Right. Joshua is magnified before the children of Israel as they cross the Jordan. After the priests bearing the ark pass over, the river returns to its course. So that's how they get into the land, as they cross the river Jordan. And a similar experience happens like with the Red Sea. Moses parted the Red Sea. Joshua parts the Jordan River, which I think I had heard at one point, but it's all coming back to me now. I wasn't really aware of that. But they use the Ark of the Covenant to do that. I believe. He sends the priests bearing the ark, and then the river parts, and then For the Lord your God dried up the waters of Jordan from before you until you were passed over, as the Lord your God did to the Red Sea, which he dried up from before us until we were gone over, that all the people of the earth might know the hand of the Lord, that it is mighty, that ye might fear the Lord your God forever. Cool. So we passed that. We're still haven't taken over Jericho, though. But this weird dude pulls up to the scene. This mysterious guy who is allegedly the captain of the Lord's host appears to Joshua. Nobody knows who this guy is. He's just like some angelic dude. that shows up, and he's the captain of the Lord's host. Whatever that means. And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us or for our adversaries? Who the heck are you? Are you a good guy or a bad guy? And he said, Nay, but as captain of the host of the Lord am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth and did worship, and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place whereon thou standest is holy. And Joshua did so. So take off your shoes, it's holy land. Okay. So chapter 6, Jericho is taken and destroyed. I believe this is where they like walk around. Yeah. How this is where they walk around the walls of Jericho like 7 times and blow their horns 7 times, and then the walls come crumbling down. I'm going to verify this. Lord, son of Joshua, I have given into thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor. And ye shall compass the city, so surround the city. Go around, it says. Go around the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days. So 6 days go around the city one time. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns. And the 7th day shall compass the city 7 times, and the priests shall blow with the trumpets. So for 6 days they go around the city one time, and then on the 7th day they go around the city 7 times, and then the priests, the 7 priests, blow their trumpets. And it shall come to pass that when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the trumpet, all the people shall shout with a great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall ascend up, every man straight before him. So Joshua's like, okay, let's do it. And they do it. They blew the trumpets, and the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord followed them. I've heard some weird theories about the Ark of the Covenant, by the way. The Ark of the Covenant is like this thing that's always with them that seems to be necessary for all of these miraculous things that occur. The armed men went before the priests that blew with the trumpets, and the rearward came after the ark, the priests going on and blowing with the trumpets. And Joshua had commanded the people, saying, You shall not shout, nor make any noise with your voice, neither shall any word proceed out of your mouth, until the day I bid you shout, then shall ye shout. So everybody shut up until I tell you to yell. Second day, they compassed the city once, and they did 6 days. 7th day. Okay, and it came to pass the 7th time when the priests blew with the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, Shout, for the Lord hath given you the city. And the city shall be accursed. Only Rahab the harlot shall live, she and all that are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. So the people shouted when the priests blew at the trumpets, and it came to pass that when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, that the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat, so that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him, and they took the city. And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep and ass, with the edge of the sword. But Joshua had said unto the two men that had spied out the country, go into the harlot's house and bring out thence the woman and all that she hath, as she sware unto her. What are the theories? I don't know, dude. Go watch Ancient Aliens. They think it was like a nuclear reactor of some sort that like had a bunch of power. I don't know. They just say that it was like a technological thing that we don't understand. I don't know what it was, man. Anyway. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Let's get ChatGPT up in here to clarify what we got here. Okay, so Joshua and the Israelites brought down the walls of Jericho. Is that what killed the inhabitants? Because it says that they went in and killed the inhabitants with the sword. So they just brought the walls down and then they went in and killed everyone. Or did the Israelites actually go in and murder everyone? I kind of know the answer to this. It wasn't the collapsing walls that primarily killed the inhabitants. The Israelites marched around the city for 7 days. After the walls fell, the Israelites entered the city and killed the inhabitants. This passage is one of the most morally and historically debated parts of the Bible. Some scholars and religious traditions interpret it literally a historical event, while others see it as a theological storytelling, symbolic, or exaggerated war language common in the ancient Near East. Really? Some people don't even believe that this happened. That's interesting. This passage, some archaeology has not clearly confirmed the biblical version of Jericho's destruction, which adds another layer of debate. Okay. So, weren't the inhabitants of Jericho much, quote unquote, mightier than the Israelites? It's great that they destroyed the walls, but how did they just go in and kill everyone so easily with the sword? Bit similar to what's happening RN. Yes. In fact, people, I talked about this on the stream yesterday, but this is like one of the most major. This is like the story that people try to justify killing other people with. They're like, God commanded the Israelites to like commit genocide in the Bible, so that's what's going on here. Is God told me to commit genocide, which, you know, probably not. But that's where their train of thought comes from. That's a really perceptive question. It gets right to one of the tensions in the story. In the book of Joshua, the inhabitants of Jericho are actually portrayed as formidable, not weak. Earlier, when spies are sent in, even Rahab says the people of the land are aware of Israel and afraid, but Jericho itself is still described as shut up and fortified, meaning it was a defensive stronghold. Formidable, not weak. So how does the text explain Israel's sudden total victory? The narrative goes out of its way to say this wasn't a normal military win. The fall of the city is framed as an act of God. The walls collapse without siege engines. The people are said to be delivered into Israel's hands. In other words, the explanation within the text is they didn't win because they were stronger. They won because God fought for them. Psychological and tactical factors within the story. Even staying inside the narrative logic, a few things help explain it. The city was already on edge. Fear is emphasized earlier in Joshua. The sudden collapse of walls would create chaos and disorganization. Ancient cities weren't huge populations like modern cities. Jericho may have been relatively small. Once defenses are breached, ancient urban combat could be swift and brutal. Ancient war accounts are often exaggerated. Many scholars point out that this kind of "we destroyed everyone" language was standard ancient Near Eastern war rhetoric used by multiple cultures, not just Israel. It often emphasizes total victory. Doesn't necessarily mean every single person literally died. Okay, that makes sense. So cool. So we went in and killed everybody except for Rahab, apparently. Rahab was the one that housed the spies and hid them. And so the Lord was like, okay, everybody, kill everybody in Jericho except for Rahab. She's cool. Israel is defeated by the people of AI. Israel is defeated by AI, dude? That's funny. Who the heck is I, though? I wonder if that's on the map. Where do the people of I show up? Here's I. Question is, who are they? Okay, we don't get an explanation on that here. AI mentioned. Yeah, dude, isn't that the truth? Israel's getting defeated by AI once again. Joshua complains to the Lord. Achan and his household are destroyed because he disobeyed the Lord by taking the spoils of Jericho. Son of Zabdi took of the accursed thing, and the anger of the Lord was kindled against the children of Israel. So this guy Achan, Akar means trouble. His name is literally trouble? Oh, jeez. Well, apparently he took something that he wasn't supposed to take. Okay, and Joshua sent men from Jericho to Ai. I'm going to call it Ai, which is beside Bethaven on the east side. Okay, tells us where Ai is. Let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite Ai, and make not all the people to labor thither for there but few. So they send about 3,000 people, but they flee before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai smote of them about 36 men. So they kill like 36 of them, for they chase them from before the gate even unto Shebarim. And Joshua rent his clothes. He's not happy about this loss. And he fell to the earth upon his face before the ark of the Lord until the eventide, he and the elders of Israel, and put dust upon their heads. Joshua said, Alas, O Lord God, wherefore hast thou at all brought this people over Jordan to deliver us into the hand of the Amorites, to destroy us? Would to God we had been content and dwelt on the other side of Jordan. Dude. Can I just really quickly say, like, how many times the Israelites go back on their faith, dude? And that is something that is very symbolic and recognizable today. Is like, despite the miraculous one miracle after another that God does for the people of Israel, whenever something goes wrong, dude, they're just like, man, I wish we had just stayed in Egypt and been slaves. Man, I wish we had never crossed the Jordan River and just stayed lost in the wilderness, because this is sucky. Every time I don't know. They're big time complainers, dude. They're big time complainers. Even Joshua, the guy that doesn't complain, is complaining now because they got smacked by the men of Ai. The Lord said, Joshua, get thee up, dude. Get thee up. Wherefore liest thou thus upon thy face? What are you doing on the floor, dude? Get up. They transgress the covenant. Oh, so this Achan guy. Okay, that's my next theory, is Achan. So did the Israelites that fought against the people of Ai lose the battle because Achan had taken spoils that he wasn't supposed to take? Yes, according to the biblical narrative, that's exactly the reason given. Okay, that makes sense. So they were like, yo, we've got the Lord with us, and Joshua was like, all right, go take the city of Ai. But they lose to Ai because Achan had apparently taken stuff from the city of Jericho that he wasn't supposed to touch, and Joshua didn't know that. And Joshua was like, yo, Lord, where were you, bro? We got smacked by the people of Ai. And he's like, yeah, we'll go talk to Achan because he took stuff that he wasn't supposed to. Joshua uses an ambush. He takes Ai and slays its inhabitants. He builds an altar in Mount Ebal. The words of the law, both blessings and cursings, are read to the people. Okay, so we get we get Ai now. We figured out the Achan issue, and now we got the Lord again. We take out Ai. The Gibeonites by craft obtain a league with Israel. Joshua makes them servants to the congregation of Israel. Okay. Whoever the Gibeonites are. Israel defeats the Amorites and their allies, and the Lord casts stones from heaven upon them. What? The Lord casts stones from heaven upon them. Literally just rains stones. It came to pass as they fled from before Israel and were in the going down to Betharan, that the Lord cast down great stones from heaven upon them unto Azekah, and they died. They were more which died with hailstones than they whom the children of Israel slew with the sword. So the children of Israel like slay the people. They slay a bunch of the Amorites and they try to run away. And then the Lord rains down hail on them. And more of them die to the hail than they did to the Israelites. That's wild. Then spake Joshua the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher? So the sun stood still in the midst of heaven and hasted not to go down about a whole day. Okay. Interesting. Maybe stones are hail. Yeah, well, I thought like some kind of freaking meteor shower, but yeah, it seems that it's clarified that with hailstones, which, by the way, as we read in the book of Revelation a few streams ago, we're expecting another really, really nasty hailstorm sometime soon. So prepare for that. The Lord has obviously wiped out many people using hailstorms, and it's going to happen again soon. Joshua and Israel conquer the whole land, destroying many cities and nations. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. 2 kings on the east of the Jordan and 31 on the west are conquered by Israel. And 31 on the west. Okay, so once again, 2 kings over here where we started. And we conquered how many on the west side? 31. 31 kings we conquered over here on the west side of the River Jordan. So again, this is the Holy Land, dude. Now we're in it. Joshua and we've taken, according to chapter 11, we've conquered the whole land. There remain some lands yet to be possessed. Some inhabitants are not expelled. The inheritances of Reuben, Gad, and 1/2 of Manasseh are confirmed. Okay, so this is important. This is where things get hairy, dude, because now that we have the land, we still have our 12 tribes of Israel, and now we have to divide it among the 12 tribes of Israel. Now we have to divide the land. And geographically, like that's important. Joshua was old and stricken in years, and the Lord said unto him, Thou art old and stricken in years. And there remaineth yet very much land to be possessed. So there's still a lot of land you got to go get, Joshua, but you're old and I don't know. This is the land that yet remaineth. All the borders of the Philistines and all Jeshuri. Okay. So he is like literally listing all the places that still need to be possessed. Now therefore divide this land for an inheritance unto the 9 tribes and the half tribe of Manasseh. Hold on a second. From the south, all the land of the Canaanites and Mira that is beside the Sidonians unto Aphek, to the borders of the Amorites, and all Lebanon toward the sun rising. Okay, so he's mapping out like what parts of the land still need to be possessed. Only divide thou it by lot unto the Israelites for an inheritance, as I have commanded thee. Now therefore divide this land for an inheritance unto the 9 tribes and the half tribe of Manasseh, with whom the Reubenites and the Gadites have received their inheritance, which Moses gave them beyond Jordan eastward, even as Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave them. Okay. I feel like I knew this. So, I always start my questions to ChatGPT with so. So, the land that was given to the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and half of Manasseh was located on the east side of the river Jordan. Yes, that's correct. The tribes of Reuben, Gad, and half of Manasseh were given land on the east side of the Jordan River before most of the Israelites crossed into Canaan. How that happened, okay, this is why I remember it, because it happened in the book of Numbers. This is described mainly in the book of Numbers and later confirmed in Deuteronomy and book of Joshua. These tribes saw that the land east of the Jordan, formerly controlled by kings like Sihon and Og, was good for livestock. Dude, Og, man. The king Og. If that's not the name of a giant, dude, like, come on, man. Og? That's the name of an abnormally large human being. It has to be. They asked Moses if they could settle there instead of crossing into the mainland of Canaan. At first, Moses was concerned they were trying to avoid helping the others, but he agreed on one condition. Their fighting men had to cross the Jordan and help the other tribes conquer the land. Only after that could they return to their families on the east side. They agreed and later followed Joshua through during the campaigns led by Joshua. Okay. So east of Jordan, we've got Reuben, Gad, and half of Manasseh. Why half? That's so weird. This east side territory is sometimes called Transjordan. It's an important detail because it shows that not all Israelite settlement happened within what we typically think of as the promised land west of the Jordan. Okay, that's crazy, dude. So if we're talking about the house of Israel, this is technically the Holy Land, but some of the house of Israel's geographical location existed on the other side of the Jordan River. Okay? Feel like that has significance today. I did not know that. Gonna keep going. If you want, I can map out where each tribe ended up. I want to do that, but I got to get there organically first. I got to find it in the scriptures first, and then we'll come back to that. Okay. Oh, let's see. They receive beyond Jordan eastward. Okay, so Moses gave them that. We're still talking about, okay, so this is all like in detail the land that the Reubenites and the Gadites get. All the kingdom of Og. Only unto the tribe of Levi he gave none inheritance. The sacrifices of the Lord God of Israel made by fire are their inheritance, as he said unto them. So everybody gets a piece of the Holy Land except for the tribe of Levi. Okay. We're still talking about. And Moses gave inheritance unto the half tribe of Manasseh, and this was the possession of the half tribe of the children of Manasseh by their families, and their coast was from Mahanaim, all Bashan, all the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all the towns of Jer. Okay. These are the countries which Moses did distribute for inheritance in the plains of Moab on the other side Jordan by Jericho eastward. But unto the tribe of Levi Moses gave not any inheritance. The Lord God of Israel was their inheritance, as he said unto them. Okay. The land is divided by lot among 9.5 tribes. Caleb inherits Hebron as a special reward for his faithfulness. Okay. I'm very actually interested to know where Hebron is, because Caleb's land, remember, Caleb is the representative of the tribe of Judah, which is where the term Jew comes from. So I feel like that has significance. Like where Caleb's inheritance is could have a lot of significance as to where the Jews actually belong geographically. And these are the countries which the children, and we've got 9.5 tribes left to give land to because, 2.5 of them have already been given their land. And these are the countries which the children of Israel inherited in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar the priest and Joshua and the heads of the fathers of the tribes distributed for inheritance to them. Okay. So Eleazar, Joshua, and the heads of the fathers of the tribes of Israel have this meeting or whatever, and okay, they got to figure out where these are going. For the children of Joseph were 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. Therefore they gave no part unto the Levites in the land, save cities to dwell in, with their suburbs for their cattle and for their substance. Why are we doing another one of these? Dude, we're not done, Gritty. We're not done, bro. We're still learning about where Israel's at, man. We got to figure it out. So Levites, again, they don't get a geographical inheritance. They don't get a piece of the land. But there's still 12 tribes that do, because the tribe of Joseph is split into Manasseh and Ephraim. And half of Manasseh apparently already has some land. As the Lord commanded Moses, so the children of Israel did, and they divided the land. Then the children of Judah came unto Joshua in Gilgal, and Caleb, the son of the Kenizzite, said unto him, Thou knowest the thing that the Lord said unto Moses, the man of God, concerning me and thee in Kadesh Barnea. 40 years old was I when Moses, the servant of the Lord, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to spy out the land, and I brought him word again, it as it was in mine heart. So Caleb's recounting, he goes up to Joshua, and Caleb's like, dude, remember when we were asked by Moses to spy out the land of Canaan, and we were the only 2 that came back and were like, yo, we can do this, and gave good report? That's what we're talking about here. Nevertheless, my brethren that went up with me made the heart of the people melt, but I wholly followed the Lord my God. And Moses sware on that day, saying, Surely the land whereon thy feet have trodden shall be thine inheritance, and thy children's forever, because thou hast wholly followed the Lord my God.
And now, behold, the Lord hath kept me alive, as he said, these 40 and 5 years, even since the Lord spake his word unto Moses while the children of Israel wandered in the wilderness. And now, lo, I am this day fourscore and 5 years old. Scores what, 20 years? Bro's 85 years old. Caleb's 85 years old, and he's like, hey, remember when the Lord promised Moses that I would like have this land because I was faithful and the rest of the spies weren't? and as yet I am as strong this day as I was in the day that Moses sent me. As my strength was then, even so is my strength now for war, both to go out and to come in. So apparently Caleb is 85 years old and still claiming to be in his prime, is what I'm reading here. As yet I am as strong this day. Okay, now therefore give me this mountain. Give me this mountain, dude. Whereof the Lord spake in that day, for thou heardest the day the Anakims were. Okay, so he wants him. And Joshua blessed him and gave unto Caleb for an inheritance. Hebron therefore became the inheritance of Caleb, the son, because that he wholly followed the Lord God of Israel. And the name of Hebron was Kirjath Arba, which Arba was a great man among the Anakims, and the land had rest from war. Arba? Who the heck is Arba? Which city is Hebron in the hill country of Judah, with the suburbs thereof round about it? All right, dude, we got to find this place. Okay, here's Hebron. Here's Hebron right here. But what's so great about Hebron? Let's ask ChatGPT. What's so great about Hebron? Why did Caleb want it? How about you get on Brawl Stars later and play with me? Nah. I'm going to bed later. Hebron stands out in the Bible for a mix of spiritual importance, strategic value, and personal history, which is why Caleb specifically asked for it. Number one, it was tied to the patriarchs. Huge spiritual significance. Hebron is one of the most sacred places in the Hebrew Bible. Abraham lived there for a time. What? It's where Abraham purchased the cave of Machpelah as a burial site. Isaac, Jacob, and their families are associated with it. So Hebron wasn't just land, it represented the fulfillment of God's promises to the patriarchs. It was a prime fortified region. Hebron was located in the hill country of Judah, fertile and valuable, strongly fortified. It was also home to the Anakim, a people described as giants. The same group that had frightened the Israelite spies decades earlier. There were giant people living in Anakim, dude. All right, I've freaked out enough about that. But, like, is that not freaking insane, dude? He literally wants Hebron because it's inhabited with giants. Caleb had unfinished business there? Okay, back in the story of the spies, Caleb was one of the only two who believed Israel could take the land. The others were terrified specifically of places like Hebron because of the Anakim. So they looked at the land of Canaan and they were like, we can't do it, dude. There's giants there. And they were specifically talking about the people in Hebron. So when Caleb later asks for Hebron, he's basically saying, give me the hardest, most intimidating place, the very one people were afraid of, and I'll take it. Dude, okay. Again, Caleb is the representative of the tribe of Judah, dude. This is the Jews. Even at about 85 years old, Caleb says he's still ready to fight. His request shows confidence in God's promise, willingness to face the strongest, whatever that word is, a desire to finish what he started decades earlier. Hebron was great because it combined deep spiritual heritage, strategic importance. Dude, that's kind of crazy. I'm kind of freaking out about this because I'm just now realizing, even though it's so obvious, but we started up here. We started in the land of Canaan. Like, look at this. Look at this. Oh, wait a minute. We don't get that map? Oh, so we get a little bit more north here with this map. We get to see a little bit more north. But this is like New Testament significance, more so. But we we started, like, this is where Abraham was. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they were all dinking around in the Holy Land already. And then they went and lived in... All right, hold on. I got to freaking talk to ChatGPT about this. Okay. So if Abraham and his posterity were already living in the Holy Land, I should say in the land of promise, why did the Lord lead them into Egypt just to bring them back into the land of promise? Was it considered the land of promise back when Abraham was living in it? Because Abraham was born in Egypt, dude. Abraham was born in Egypt as well, and then he got to the land of promise, apparently. He was living in Hebron, or Hebron, whatever, however you say it. And then the Lord apparently, like, when Israel comes around, Abraham's grandson, then he's like, okay, now we're going to sell Joseph into Egypt, and we're going to bring Israel back into Egypt, and then we're going to take him back out of Egypt, back to the same place that we already were at? Let's see if ChatGPT knows what I'm talking about. Great question. This gets at a really important theme in the Bible, promise versus possession. Yes, it was already the promised land in Abraham's time. When Abraham was in Canaan, God explicitly promised that land to him and his descendants. See Book of Genesis 12, 15, and 17. So it was promised to his descendants. The promised land, the land of Canaan, was promised to Abraham's descendants all the way back in Genesis, which is when Abraham lived. Here's the key. Abraham lived in the land, yet he did not own or control it as a nation. In fact, the Bible emphasizes that he was a sojourner or foreigner there. The only land he actually owned was a burial plot, Hebron. So yes, it was the land of promise, but it wasn't yet the land of possession. Okay, all right. That's kind of crazy, bro. That's kind of crazy. So Abraham, okay, again, Abraham lived in Egypt. He was born in Egypt, and spoiler alert, he had to run away from Egypt. We are getting somewhere, Jen. Isn't this freaking insane, dude? Oh man. It just gets more mind-blowing the deeper and deeper you look into it. Anyway, Abraham had to run away from Egypt. He left Egypt, and then he is milling around the Holy Land. But that is an interesting point that I had not considered, is that he was not the owner of this land. He was just in it. And the Lord promises, imagine that, dude. Imagine that imagine that you're a refugee, you're a sojourner, you're a foreigner. You just show up to another land and the Lord tells you, he's like, hey, one day you're going to own this land. It's going to be yours. That's kind of a big deal. Why go down to Egypt at all? Dude, Gritty, I do read the chat. I think it's just extremely delayed. So I haven't figured out how to solve that issue, or if there even is solving it. Why go down to Egypt at all? The move to Egypt in the time of Jacob and Joseph happens for practical and providential reasons. To my understanding, before I even read further, okay, it's the first thing. A severe famine hits Canaan. Yeah, so they literally have to leave. The Lord, but that's the thing, is if there's a famine going on, it's God that is causing it to happen. So he basically knew that he pushed Israel out of Canaan into Egypt. Joseph is already in Egypt and in a position of power. Egypt becomes a place of survival and growth. But this wasn't random. Centuries earlier, God had already told Abraham that his descendants would be strangers in a foreign land. They would be afflicted for a time. Then they would come back. He told him that. That's exactly what happened. So they were strangers in the land of Egypt, and they were afflicted, which they were slaves, and then they would come back. But what's really weird is at what point in the land of Canaan did all these freaking giants pull up to the function? Anyway, Egypt functioned like a nation-building stage. When Jacob's family goes into Egypt, they're just a small extended family. Hold up. When Jacob's family goes into Egypt, they're just a small extended family. By the time of Moses and the Exodus, they've become a large people group or nation. That's why Egypt made them slaves again, by the way, is because they were worried about how large their group was, their family was. They have a shared identity in history. They're ready, at least numerically, to take and occupy the land. So Egypt was, in a sense, a place of preservation, a place of multiplication, and eventually a place of bondage that sets up their dramatic deliverance. Why not just give them the land immediately? Genesis 15 gives a fascinating reason. The iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And remember, the Amorites are also giant people. But what does that mean? The iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. In other words, the existing inhabitants of the land weren't yet judged. The timing of Israel's possession was tied to a larger moral and historical timeline. The story creates a repeating biblical pattern: promise, waiting, hardship, deliverance, fulfillment. Chat, remember this. This has to do with our day. Promise, waiting, hardship, deliverance, fulfillment. Abraham receives the promise. His descendants leave the land. They suffer and grow. God brings them back and finally gives them the land as a nation. Yes, it was the promised land in Abraham's time, but only as a future inheritance, not a present possession. Egypt wasn't a detour, it was part of the plan to grow Israel into a nation to fulfill prophecy and to set the stage for the return and conquest of Canaan. If you want, I can show you how this same promise versus fulfillment pattern shows up later in the Bible too. It's actually a huge recurring theme. No, I'm not going to let ChatGPT spoil this for me. Okay, so where are we? Still got to divide the land up into... Okay, but why did we go down that tangent? Because Caleb wanted Hebron. Why did he want Hebron? Because that's where Abraham was. He's got a history with Hebron. He's got beef with Hebron. That's where the nastiest people were at. And he was like, dude, I'm 85 years old, but I'm a fighting man. Give me Hebron, dude. Cool. And remember, that's the representative of the Jews, is Caleb. Now we're going to read about the children of Joseph, apparently, which is your boy right here sitting in this camera. I am from the tribe of Ephraim. And the lot of the children of Joseph fell from Jordan by Jericho unto the water of Jericho on the east. Wait. I'm getting ahead of myself. And the lot of the children of Joseph fell from Jordan by Jericho unto the water of Jericho on the east, to the wilderness that goeth up from Jericho throughout Mount Bethel and goeth out from Bethel. Fell from Jordan by Jericho unto the water of Jericho on the east. What? The water of Jericho? What is that? Dude, you know it is so easy. We can just look at this freaking map that they already made. Yo. Reuben, Gad. And this is half of Manasseh. Dude, remember that it said that half of Manasseh gets some of the land on the east side of Jordan? This is half? This is the half that half of Manasseh gets this? Goodness gracious. Okay, but here's Ephraim. I don't know where the water of Jericho is, but here's Jericho, and this is what Ephraim gets. Benjamin gets Jerusalem, okay. And Judah, okay. Oh. Dude, okay. Are we seeing what's going on here, chat? Judah, a.k.a., again, where the term Jew comes from, this is their land. This is the land that they were given. That the tribe of Judah. Okay, now, again, this is the tribe of Judah. I don't know when the term Jew was invented, but I know that it's derived from Judah. So I don't know. We got to keep going here to make sure that it's just significant that this is where the kingdom of Judah is. That this is the land that Judah was given. It includes the Gaza Strip. It doesn't include Jerusalem. This is where Benjamin's at. Dan is up here, but Gaza and all of this. Oh, and they get Hebron. Yeah, this is Caleb. Caleb wanted Hebron. They completely surround Simeon, though. Or Simon. I actually don't know how you say that name. But that's weird that they completely surround this kingdom. So that's what I want to know, dude, is like when did the boundaries change and who changed them? And how often? Because I think it happened multiple times. You know, there were wars and anyway. Right now, we've got 12 tribes that were. And whoa, why is Dan? What? Okay, and here's Ephraim and Manasseh. They're kind of like they're right next to each other. And they kind of get like the first land that they entered into. At least Ephraim does. This is like right where the Israelites came into the Holy Land, was where Ephraim's at. Why does Dan have this tiny freaking... And this is the land of Dan? Why does Dan have this tiny piece of land, but also they're down here as well? There's a reason for that, chat. I don't know what it is, but we'll find out. But dang, dude, Manasseh gets so much land. Gosh. All right, let's keep going. Some Canaanites continue to dwell among the Ephraimites. What? Canaanites? I thought we wiped out all the Canaanites. I guess we didn't wipe out all the Canaanites. We just wiped out all of the ones that were in Jericho. But that's weird. That we don't like... They said they've talked about how they don't like the Canaanites. And they drave not out the Canaanites that dwelt in Gezer, but the Canaanites dwell among the Ephraimites unto this day and serve under tribute as task servants. So they just continue to live in Ephraim, but they're like servants to Ephraim. Okay. Manasseh and Ephraim both receive an additional inheritance. Hold on. So the children of Joseph, Manasseh and Ephraim, took their inheritance. Okay, and now they get an additional inheritance. They get more. Ephraim is to drive out the Canaanites from the hill country. There was also a lot for the tribe of Manasseh, for he was the firstborn of Joseph. To it, for Machir, the firstborn of Manasseh, the father of Gilead, because he was a man of war, therefore he had Gilead and Bashan. Out of Ephraim, there was a root of them against Amalek. After the Benjamin among my people, out of Machir came down governors, and out of Zebulun, they that handle the pen of the writer. Okay, I don't know what that is talking about. There was also a lot for the rest of the children of Manasseh by their families. Okay. So I think this is like talking about the other half of Manasseh and where they get their thing. Ephraim is to drive out the Canaanites from the hill country. So they had the Canaanites just chilling there, but now the Lord tells them to get rid of them. Hang on. And they came And they came near before Eleazar the priest and before Joshua and before the princes, saying, the Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our brethren. Therefore, according to the commandment of the Lord, he gave them an inheritance among the brethren of their father. And there fell 10 portions to Manasseh beside the land of Gilead and Bashan, which were on the other side of Jordan. Yeah, okay, so Manasseh gets a crap ton of land. Came to pass when the children of Israel waxed strong that they put the Canaanites to tribute, but did not utterly drive them out. And the children of Joseph spake unto Joshua, saying, why hast thou given me but one lot and one portion to inherit, seeing I am a great people, for as much as the Lord hath blessed me hitherto? And Joshua answered them, if thou be a great people, then get thee up to the wood country and cut down for thyself there in the land of the Perizzites and of the giants, if Mount Ephraim be too narrow for thee. And the children of Joseph said, the hill is not enough for us, and all the Canaanites that dwell in the land of the valley have chariots of iron. The hill is not enough for us, and all the Canaanites that dwell in the land of the valley have chariots of iron. Both they who are of Beth Shean and her towns, and they who are of the valley of Jezreel. And Joshua spake unto the house of Joseph, even to Ephraim and to Manasseh, saying, thou art a great people, and thou hast great power. Thou shalt not have one lot only, but the mountain shall be thine, for it is wood. Thou shalt cut it down, and the outgoings of it shall be thine, for thou shalt drive out the Canaanites, though they have iron chariots, and though they be strong. And I've read about this before. There's something peculiar, there's something strange about these Canaanites that have chariots of iron. So Ephraim has like a bunch of, their tribe is huge. They have a bunch of people, I guess, which was prophesied. And they're like, dude, we need more land. And Joshua's like, go take this. Go take the land of the Perizzites. And Ephraim's like, we can't because they have chariots of iron. And Joshua's like, dude, it's fine. You can beat them. But they're clearly like afraid of these chariots of iron. Which whatever. And the Lord was with Judah, and he drave out the inhabitants of the mountain, but could not drive out the inhabitants of the valley because they had chariots of iron. See, in Judges, it mentions that the Lord, that the tribe of Judah couldn't even drive out the inhabitants because of their chariots of iron. And the children of Israel cried unto the Lord, for he had 900 chariots of iron. In 20 years he mightily oppressed the children of Israel. Chariots of iron, dude. Nobody knows what these things are. Pretty strange, pretty weird. Tabernacle of the congregation is set up at Shiloh. Benjamin receives an inheritance. Okay. So Benjamin gets their land. Simon, Zebulun, Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, and Dan receive their inheritances. Woohoo! Now we're all getting our piece of land. 6 cities of refuge are appointed for those guilty of manslaughter. Okay. Don't think we need to get into that. That's odd. The Levites receive 48 cities with their suburbs. The Lord fulfills all his promises and gives Israel rest. Then came near the heads of the fathers of the Levites unto Eleazar the priest and unto Joshua and unto the heads of the father. Okay, and they spake unto them at Shiloh in the land of Canaan, saying, the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses to give us cities to dwell in, with the suburbs thereof for our cattle. And the children of Israel gave unto the Levites out of their inheritance at the commandment of the Lord these cities and their suburbs. And the lot came out for the families of the Kohathites. Okay, so just to clarify, so when the Holy Land was divided up to the 12 tribes, the Levites were not given any land, but they were told, well, but they were given cities within the other tribes to dwell in? Question mark. Yes, that's exactly right. When the land of Canaan was divided among the tribes, the tribe of Levi did not receive a contiguous territory like the other tribes. Instead, okay, yeah, we know offerings and tithes from the other tribes. They were given cities scattered throughout Israel, a total of 48 cities within the territories of the other tribes, including 6 cities of refuge, places where someone accused of manslaughter could seek protection. I'll have to look into that another day. These cities were spread out so the Levites could teach the law, perform religious duties, serve the spiritual needs of all Israel, not just one region. So instead of having one homeland, the Levites were distributed among all the tribes. Their role was more spiritual than territorial. So they just kind of like each tribe like had some Levites here and there so that they could perform the religious like rituals and stuff. Even though we talk about 12 tribes receiving land, the count works like this. Tribe of Joseph split into two, into tribe of Ephraim and tribe of Manasseh. So 12 land portions includes Ephraim and Manasseh, and the Levites had no land inheritance, but cities instead. Right. Okay. I'm kind of running out of steam here, chat, but I want to get through the book of Joshua at least. So the Levites, okay, the 2.5 tribes are dismissed with a blessing. They build an altar of testimony by the Jordan to show they are the Lord's people. It is not an altar for sacrifices or burnt offerings. That's odd. So Joshua calls the Reubenites, the Gadites, and the half tribe of Manasseh, saying them, you have kept all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded you, and have obeyed my voice and all that I have commanded you. You have not left your brethren these many days unto the Lord. And now the Lord has given rest unto your brethren as he promised. Therefore now return ye and get you unto your tents and unto the land of your possession, which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you on the other side of Jordan. So Joshua blessed them and sent them away, and they went unto their tents. Now to one half of the tribe of Manasseh Moses had given possession into Bashan, and on the other half thereof gave Joshua among their brethren on this side Jordan westward. And when Joshua sent them away unto their tents, then he blessed them. He said, return with much riches unto your tents, and with very much cattle, with silver, and with gold, and with brass, and with iron, and with very much raiment. Divide the spoil of your enemies with your brethren. And the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and the half the tribe of Manasseh returned and departed from the children of Israel, which is in the land of Canaan, to go into the country of Gilead. And they came unto the borders of Jordan that are in the land of Canaan. The children of Reuben and the children of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh built there an altar by Jordan, a great altar to see. I wonder if that altar is still there. And the children of Israel heard say, behold, the children of Reuben and the children of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh have built an altar over the... Okay. So I think what is happening here is the 2.5 tribes that wanted to stay on the east side of the River Jordan. They went into the Holy Land to help the tribes of Israel conquer the land, and now they're going back. And before they go back across the River Jordan, Joshua blesses them and dismisses them. Joshua exhorts Israel to be courageous, keep the commandments of the Lord, and neither marry among nor cleave unto the remnants of the Canaanites who remain in the land. When the children of Israel serve other gods, they will be cursed and dispossessed. Okay. That was one big thing, is like the Israelites were not supposed to intermingle with the Canaanites. Do not marry the Canaanites. Joshua recites how the Lord has blessed and led Israel. Joshua and all the people covenant to choose the Lord and serve him only. Joshua and Eleazar die. The bones of Joseph, taken from Egypt, are buried in Shechem. So Joshua's dead. Joshua dies, dude. So now who takes over? Now who's in charge of the house of Israel? Now after the death of Joshua, so now we're in the book of Judges. Now after the death of Joshua came to pass, so the children of Israel asked the Lord, saying, who shall go up for us against the Canaanites first to fight against them? The Lord said, Judah shall go up. Behold, I have delivered the land into his hand. And Judah said unto Simon his brother, come up with me into my lot, that we may fight against the Canaanites, and I likewise will go with thee into thy lot. So Simon went with him, and Judah went up, and the Lord delivered the Canaanites and Perizzites into their hands, and they slew of them in Bezek 10,000 men. Okay, lots of stuff going on here. As a pattern of future events, a new generation arises that forsakes the Lord and serves Baal and Ashtaroth. The Lord is angry with the children of Israel and ceases to preserve them. He raises up judges to guide and lead them. The Canaanites are left in the land to test Israel. Okay, so after Joshua dies, the Lord doesn't call a new leader of Israel until they turn away from him. Then he calls judges. You've got the basic flow right, but it's a little more nuanced. After Joshua dies, there isn't a single national leader who replaces him the way he replaced Moses. At first, Israel is supposed to function more like a confederation of tribes, with God as their direct king. Early in the book of Judges, the tribes even ask God questions like, who should go up first? So there's still guidance, just not through one central human leader. The turning point. Israel falls into a cycle. Very quickly, the text says a new generation arises that doesn't remain faithful. Very quickly, was there a plot twist? Did I miss it? that nobody replaced Joshua. Very quickly, the text says a new generation arises that doesn't remain faithful. Then a repeating pattern begins. Dude, by the way, we might have to take like another like side deep dive into the practices of Baal and Ashtaroth, because they are strikingly similar to the practices that we're seeing today. Like this freaking, a lot of the stuff that is coming back into our societies were practices that the Israelites were doing when they served Baal and Ashtaroth, and they're not good, and they bring destruction and bad stuff when we bring them into our society. Very quickly, the text says a new generation rises that doesn't remain faithful. Then a repeating pattern begins. Israel turns away from God. They fall under oppression from nations. They cry out for help. God raises up a deliverer. Peace for a time. Then the cycle repeats. History repeats itself, exactly. By the way, remember this cycle as well. This is exactly what's happening. Israel, God's covenant people, not just the world in general, but God's covenant people specifically, turn away from God. That is currently happening. Then they fall under oppression from the worldly nations, which is going to happen very, very soon. Then they cry out for help, and then God raises up a deliverer, and then we have peace for a time. We are currently on step 1, swiftly moving into phase 2. We're already kind of being oppressed, but not nearly as much as we will be. The judges like Deborah, Gideon, Samson weren't kings or permanent national leaders. They were raised up temporarily, usually in response to a crisis, often regional, not over all Israel at once. So it's not that God waited to call leaders. It's that he allowed Israel to experience consequences and then sent leaders as deliverers when they repented. No central leadership was actually part of the problem. A key theme in Judges is summed up by a repeated line. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. This reflects a lack of unity, a spiritual decline, absence of consistent leadership. This chaotic period of... Okay, by the way, this could also describe 2026. This is literally what we're doing today, by the way. Everyone is doing what is right in their own eyes. This chaotic period eventually pushes Israel to want a king, which happens later in first book of Samuel. Okay, so the bottom line, after Joshua, there's no single permanent leader. Israel falls into cycles of disobedience. God raises judges as temporary deliverers when they turn back to him. So you're right in spirit. The judges show up after Israel turns away and then cries out, not as a continuous line of leadership from the start. There's one more thing I want to know, though. Why did they need to go up against more Canaanites at the beginning of Judges? What Canaanites were they even referring to? This part can feel confusing unless you zoom out a bit. They hadn't fully conquered the land yet. Even though the book of Joshua describes major victories, it doesn't mean every city and group was wiped out, which we read about. There was still a lot of the land that still needed to be conquered when Joshua was an old man. Large portions of the land were still controlled by various peoples. Many cities remain unconquered. Some tribes hadn't fully taken their allotted territory. Oh. So when Israel asks, who shall go up first against the Canaanites, they're talking about finishing the job, continuing the conquest tribe by tribe. So they were given the land, they divided up the land, but they hadn't even conquered it all. The word Canaanites can mean two things. Anyone living in Canaan, and specific groups within the land. Judges 1 actually shows incomplete conquest. The first chapter of Judges repeatedly says things like, they did not drive them out. They lived among the Canaanites. This is really important. The text is emphasizing Israel failed to fully take the land. They coexisted with these groups instead. Why does that matter? According to the narrative, this incomplete conquest leads to problems. They remain people's influence Israel religiously. The remaining peoples influence Israel religiously. They become recurring enemies in later stories. Judges 2 even says these nations were left to test Israel, reveal whether they would stay faithful. That's so interesting, man. The Israelites still had, okay. Okay, well, I think I'm going to call it there for tonight. Oh, man. We went over a lot. But we've got our tribes. We've got our lands. We just need to figure out how they shift, what wars happen. There's a lot more that happens with these 12 tribes, man. Jenna, I'm surprised you stuck it out all the way to the end. But I appreciate you watching. I need the viewership. But yeah, so I'll foreshadow this as well. Is like what I'm really hoping to get to soon, like as soon as possible, is like Isaiah. There's like a ton of stuff that happens in 2 Kings. And there's like wars that happen, and the 12 tribes of Israel get split up, and they're divided into a northern kingdom and a southern kingdom, and there's a ton of symbolism revolving around that. And I think that's when like the Jews come into play, actually, because then we're starting to arrive at the time of Jesus Christ, relatively. You know, we're still centuries before he shows up, but anyway. I don't know. It's just, yeah, I think there's a lot of important stuff. The further ahead we go, the more complicated it's going to get, but I swear, dude, the more valuable it gets, the information. And I strongly believe that God literally set it up that way. But that's a tangent for another time. So anyway, I may stream tomorrow. Usually I don't on Sundays, but this is kind of a Sunday-worthy stream, so we'll see. But yeah. Nighty-night, everybody.